Hey there, Doodle gang! Doodle here, and I hope you'll stick around for this nice little discussion video about my thoughts on the future of horror online games and like what is going to happen since then. Since the here to now, well, here to the future, honestly, because you know how I am with my words. But I was thinking about the current stuff that's been happening with like Texas Chainsaw coming out just this month, and eventually we'll be getting the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game, and it made me start thinking, this might be the start of Dead by Daylight finally having competition. Now, don't get me wrong, Dead by Daylight has sort of had competition even way before Texas Chainsaw came out and everything in that matter, like VHS and whatever that other game was. I honestly cannot remember. I'm assuming it was an exclusive for like the Epic Store. I honestly can't think of it. I'm pretty sure it got discontinued or something. I do not remember. But besides that, I was thinking about the fact that Dead by Daylight is going to be getting competition, and right now it is getting competition. Texas Chainsaw Massacre just coming out this month. And then later down the road, probably next year, we're going to be getting the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game. Even though we don't have a lot of info on the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game, I do hope that it's going to be good, because just recently I was thinking about it, and I looked up to see if there was any new trailers or something in that matter, because it was like months ago since we got that trailer of the game's announcement, and just recently, I think 11 days ago, there was a new trailer showing off better gameplay, even though the gameplay is pretty rough. It is in its, testing mode, testing state at the moment, because there isn't, any dates on when it's going to come out. It looks pretty, like, in the middle of its development. Not in the middle, but at least, like, getting closer to the finishing of its development, but at the same time, we're probably not going to see it till probably next year, which I'm totally fine with that. Let that cake cook in the oven, because I have big hopes for that game, and I really hope it's going to be good as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And speaking of online horror, that is something that is very rare for any video games, because it's not your typical single player experience, it's an online player experience. And of course, Dead by Daylight has been the king of horror online, because that's been the only good one, or like really the only one, compared to, like the other games like VHS, that it just didn't do good. And of course, I never played VHS or that other one I was thinking of. I'll probably show a picture of whatever it was, because it's on the top of my head. I've seen trailers of it, I just cannot think of the name. And of course, you have like other things like Friday, which is getting closed, I'm pretty sure in December, or I am thinking that it's already been. Not entirely sure. I unfortunately have not been in the Friday space. I've only played it a few times, and if it's still open, I'm assuming it still is, because I remember they said they were shutting down this year. I'll probably do a video on that, but regardless, it's just a very rare subject of video games for online horror that is very active in the community. And of course, like I said, Dead by Daylight is the king of online horror games. And finally, Dead by Daylight is getting actual competition for once. So what does that mean for the future of Dead by Daylight? Well, of course, the normal motto for Dead by Daylight is cosmetics every other month or so, a chapter every month or so, and nothing really else than that, with your occasional reworks and stuff like that. But at the same time, Dead by Daylight is mainly relying on their chapters at this point, because, honestly, at this point, it is that. Cosmetics aren't really doing much good these days, and of course, events are getting more lackluster as they go, and the chapters are really only carrying Dead by Daylight at the moment. And if you haven't, I would greatly appreciate it if you would check out my most recent Dead by Daylight video, my discussion Dead by Daylight video, of how boring the game has been, because I just go on a little bit of a rant about how the game has been over the years. I've been here since 2019, of course, and since I've been here this whole time, I mean, I still have a say in it, but I'm not, an OG veteran, but since I've been playing the game since 2019, it's been a little repetitive. That's all I'm really going to say about the video, but I do recommend you checking it out, and if you can, leave a like on it and share it with your friends. I mean, anything would help a small creator like myself in the YouTube community, especially in the Dead by Daylight space, because I'm trying my best to branch out on different things. Even though my name is Doodle by Daylight, we still do Dead by Daylight content, even though I say it's boring. I mean, I'll get back to it eventually, it's just when I get motivated enough as it is. I've seen Aliens pretty fun, so I'll definitely try to xenomorph when I can. But besides that, Dead by Daylight has for sure now have competition in the gaming space, and I hope they take this and like they just take this popularity interest of Texas Chainsaw, and I hope they buckle down and do different stuff with their game. And I'm not saying a full-blown change or anything in that matter. Dead by Daylight is Dead by Daylight. You do your gens, you play killer, it's what it is. It's a very simple thing when you have fun with it. And of course, I hope eventually in the future they add some different stuff, like a game modes, or honestly, maybe a actual competitive mode, something different to separate competitive and normal play, because Dead by Daylight is a very competitive game compared to something like Chainsaw Massacre, because Chainsaw Massacre is just, it's so good. It's out of the park. It's an amazing game, and I enjoy playing it so much. There's no frustrations. It's always different every time, and you always have fun doing it. And of course, you're gonna have your toxic players. I mean, I was jumped once, twice. I mean, like, you're gonna get jumped in this game. You're gonna have some people who are toxic. You're always gonna have that with every community and every game. But it's perfect thing. Even though the game isn't perfect, I do have some complaints, like, you know, the slaughterhouse being too freaking big, or, you know, something in that matter, but it's still a beginning game, and there's going to be more content in the future. We're going to be getting 2 new characters, a new map, and stuff like that for the future, which that's all I'm really going to say, because I don't want my stuff being taken down if I say anything else, because I've been hearing people getting their stuff taken down for talking about leaks and stuff, so, hey, don't knock down my video, please. I do this for fun, like, you know? But regardless, Texas Chainsaw is definitely what we needed in this small genre of games, which is, you know, the horror online. Because there's really barely any horror online. And just thinking of it, the other one I can honestly think of that actually got a lot of good, you know, feedback and stuff like that was the Outlast Trials, which thank God I remembered that, because I probably would have had people going, Doodle, you forgot about the Outlast Trials. And of course, I haven't played it. I'm going to boldly assume it's still in its development stage. Like, it's not completely out yet. I'm just going by what I think. This is more of just a rant video than me researching stuff, just going by what I know. So don't yell at me in the comments if it's like, oh, it's already out, you're just being stupid. Like, the last video I seen was months ago, so I'm not even sure if it's even out yet. I'm assuming it's not. But that is another game to look forward to if it's still in its development stage, because I'm pretty sure it is. So you have Killer Clowns, the Outlast Trials. It's just the horror online aspect is looking very good. And Dead by Daylight is definitely going to be finally, after all these years, getting actual competition, which is so insane to think about, because we all know Dead by Daylight's been up there this whole time, and nothing has taken it down. Because remember when everybody was talking about VHS is going to be the next best thing, and then it didn't end up being so? This is Texas Chainsaw's moment. It's going to be up there with Dead by Daylight. And even though it might not dethrone Dead by Daylight from being like the best, it's definitely going to be right up there, like in second place, up close and personal to Dead by Daylight, giving them some worry about, yeah, you guys need to step up your game so you can get your players back, because I bet you these guys lost their players, some of them, for Dead by Daylight, because a lot of them went to Texas Chainsaw, and I don't blame them. I would rather prefer play Texas Chainsaw than Dead by Daylight right now, because why? Like, why would you play Dead by Daylight right now? Of course, the Xenomorph came out. That's the only good reason. And let's say the Xenomorph wasn't the next chapter, like, wasn't this chapter that came out. It definitely would have dropped more, because Dead by Daylight is relying more on licenses now than anything ever. And I'm hoping for the future, just they again, buckle down and just go, okay, how do we get our players back? Oh, I know, let's do cosmetics that lack freaking descriptions. What is up with that? The descriptions were so good for the cosmetics, but now they're so bland and terrible. Like, I don't understand that, and I hope the cosmetic department's okay, not being depressed anymore about their customer descriptions on cosmetics. That's kind of what Dead by Daylight's turned out to be at this point. Just waiting on cosmetics, and then occasionally get your licensed chapter now and again, which isn't bad. I do appreciate the licensed chapters, because it's honestly insane that we actually did get Alien, even though we were speculating it for such a long time, even for me, back in the Dead by Daylight Isn't Dead video that I did with the Alien thumbnail, which, I mean, you could check the video out if you want, but even though I said, like, I wouldn't even care if the Alien wasn't the anniversary chapter. As long as Alien comes in, I think that would be pretty neat. And the future of Dead by Daylight, like I said in my last video, if they rely too hard on licenses, it's going to be a little hard to get people back into the game, even though you'll have people that'll come in, try to beta, and then you'll have to wait a month or so just to wait for the actual chapter to come out, because so far we had 2 licenses, like, as of recent, which Nicolas Cage and his Xenomorph, a few months, like in the middle of the year and stuff like that. And it hasn't been bad. I think it's pretty good. Even though I feel like, I don't know why, no one ever plays Nicolas Cage from the time that I was playing Dead by Daylight. By like the end of the barbecue event, no one was really playing Nicolas Cage. I did play Nicolas Cage for a little bit, but, you know, my heart and soul goes to Jake, as anybody else would. Shirley and the 5 Jake mains out there. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, it kind of is the issue for the licenses for Dead by Daylight, because I feel like that's just being heavily relied on at the moment. And of course, all the other changes have been really great so far, you know, like the small survivor HUD, adding like if you're repairing a generator and stuff like that. The bots were a good change. That stuff was really good for the game. And, you know, eventually we'll be getting the, whatever, the camping thing, the camping meter, which, I mean, sure, it'll help out in the game. And I can't remember what else they will be adding in the future, because I remember, what was it, like, last year they talked about the Instamori thing, that I'd never seen that come out yet. And, you know, Dead by Daylight's kind of just in that dry spot at the moment. I don't know what you would really want to call it. It's just lackluster right now. Even though I've talked about it in the months, if you could look at my back of my videos going, oh, but you talked about the game isn't dying or anything. Like, no, the game is not dying. The game is at a very good state right now. It's just, you know, to the point where you kind of expect the licenses and not really anything else, because the chapters are totally fine on their own. Do not get me wrong. It's just, they're very heavily relying on that and just cosmetics and fan service, which, God, like, don't get me started on the fan service, but, you know, it is what it freaking is. I'm not even, like, you know, with all this club merch and stuff with it. And anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, just for, you know, food for thought, I guess, you know, just to discuss about the future of online horror, because it's a very rare genre to find something so successful, and I'm really happy the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been up to hype. It hasn't died. There's been so much content, and it's just been a fabulous time. I've met a lot of amazing people so far, especially in the art community. You guys are great, and I do hope in the future of Outlast Trials and Killer Clowns in Outer Space will do good. And rest in peace, Friday the 13th. You were a great game. Maybe, you never know, we could get like a revamp of that game. I think that would be pretty sick, because it honestly really sucks that it's going to be closing, even though with the not lawsuit stuff, right? With all the freaking rights and everything for Jason and all. I've been hearing about like a spin-off show, not a spin-off show, but like a show's going to be probably coming out, and possibly another game. It's just been all speculation out there. I don't really like keep up with the case or anything, but I did hear it got resolved not too long ago. Pretty long ago. It's been a long time, because like the only ever time I ever hear about it is watching Smuggles talk about it. So let's just hope to God that Dead by takes the message about, hey, step up your game so more people will join your game. Like, just anything, just something new. Because like I said in my last video, the only new thing that I'm pretty excited for is the Supermassive game that's going to be coming out eventually. So, and plus that's like in the different game aspect, it's not going to be like Dead by Daylight, so you can't really say like, oh, that's going to be the next, like, online horror. It's not. It's going to be a Supermassive game, which of course if you played Until Dawn, the Corey, or the Dark Pictures, it's going to be like that. And that's okay. I greatly appreciate that, because that's one of my favorite game genres, storytelling mixed with horror. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big Until Dawn fan, so I'm super freaking hyped for that. But it's kind of sad to hear that it's not going to be about the main characters, because I would have loved something as, like, you know how Borderlands did theirs, with Telltale games and stuff like that? I would have loved something like that, but, not having the main characters in something different, it's so sad to see it that way. But at least they're branching out on other things, like comic books, and I guess board games, and then you have Hooked on You. I'm pretty glad that they're finally branching out on different things. Now, update your merch store, Dead by Daylight. That would be freaking fantastic if you could do that, because, like, your merch sucks ass. So, like, except for the U2s. The U2s were fine. I never got the U2s, but, like, so whatever, I guess. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this little discussion rant video about my feelings so far on the online horror aspect of the gaming community, and I'm totally surprised I haven't seen anybody else talk about it, so I might as well. I know this video probably won't reach to a lot of people, but if you can, it'll be greatly appreciated if you can leave a like. If you actually made it to the end of this video, it's really appreciated, and of course if you are new around here, I would love that subscribe if you could, because if you like gaming, funny streams, and occasional rant videos of whatever I have in store, that's always, there if you enjoy that kind of commentary, because I know I'm not the greatest with commentary, but hey, I speak what's on my mind and hope that people, feel the same way. And if you do enjoy these rant videos, I would greatly appreciate if you did like them. But anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day in the fog, and I'll see you on the next trial whenever that will be. Hopefully soon. I will be playing Alien eventually, I promise. I just haven't had the motivation to. I guess I'm just in that kind of mood of like, yeah, I'll do a stream and then like do some few rant videos and then like go on with my day, because you guys seem to like the rant videos more than the gaming ones, which is totally fine. It's just, trying to mix it all together, and I do appreciate all the support as always. And I think that is it. There was no drama yet that has arose in the Dead by Daylight community, only just the cosmetic descriptions. Like, what is going on there? It kind of confuses me, not gonna lie. But, yeah, it's whatever at this point. I'll see you goobers later.